Thank you so much. Before I pass over, thank you so much for being with us. It's a pleasure to have you with us again and to see your smiling face. And I'm going to hand it over to you now.
Thank you so much, Stella, and it's so wonderful to connect with all of you. Again, some of you, I think I'm seeing you again, but also to all the new people here. As we say in Thailand, we say "Swadi Kap," which means, welcome, and it also means, being with an open heart. So happy to see all of you here. It's been a bit blustery and raining around here in Thailand. I can see in some of your screens there's bright sunshine, so that's nice to see for a change back there. And today I thought I'll share with some of you small tools that might really help you handle things better in a time like this. So personally, mindfulness is something that is not just a practice. It's a kind of a lifestyle. It's a way of living life. Though a lot of people have made it popular, and it's even become its own cult now, with people practicing mindfulness, and it's beautiful. It's a positive thing. But today I thought I'll give you an introduction to understand mindfulness a little better. At the same time, also take with you some practices that can help you use it in the right moments. And so, to begin with exploring mindfulness, it's important to understand what mindfulness is all about. Mindfulness is an art of being able to pay attention. Now, a lot of us think about how our biggest resources could be health, our biggest resources could be money. Some people value relationships far more than anything else. So we all have different values. But then, if you personally ask me, attention is one of the biggest assets we have. Because whatever we bring attention to, it automatically has an impact on whatever we pay attention to. It usually makes things grow. Now, whenever growth happens, it could be anything in life. It could be health, it could be money, it could be relationships. Whenever you see things are getting better, we start feeling happy. Happiness is an experience that comes whenever there is a movement forward. And so in life, if you see things don't remain a plateau, they don't remain a constant, things either go upwards or they start coming down. So there's never a plateau in life or a constant in life that just remains the way it is. And what makes things move upwards? If you observe what really makes things move upwards, that makes us happy, is when you bring your attention towards it. For example, let's say I worked my way towards getting into a particular fitness level that I want to achieve within myself. And once I've achieved it, and then I say, okay, I will now relax and I will take it easy. Do you think the health will maintain itself? I don't think it does, isn't it? We start going down after that. The same way, let's say we find out that this is the person I've been looking for in my life, and I'm happy I found the love of my life. And then let's say we start to relax there and not give enough attention to that relationship. You'll find that relationship starts coming down. And so anything, whether it's relationship, whether it's our own health, whether it's the work we do, everything is asking for our attention. And that is why attention is one of the biggest assets we ever have. And how much we invest our attention in which part of our life decides where growth happens, whether it's our health, whether it's our relationship, whether it's work. But the mind also has a particular tendency. It pays attention to things when things are nice and positive. Wherever there is progress, wherever we feel comfortable, Wherever there's a bit more certainty, the mind likes to focus on places that is comfortable for it. And so let's say we have different aspects of our life. Let's say we have an aspect of life which is more our career, our work. And I give a lot of attention there because I see a lot of progress happening there. And the more attention I give to it, things seem to be moving nicely in that direction. But let's say I've given too much attention to it. I've been ignoring, let's say, one of my relationships. Now, what is going to happen is very simple. The moment I ignored it, there are going to be small things that happen that start pulling us down. For example, there might be a feeling of disconnect. The other person might be feeling let down. There might be small misunderstanding and hurts happening in that relationship. I might think that this relationship, let's say it's not a very deep relationship, it's just a friendship or a small minor relationship. Even if it's a minor relationship and I'm not giving it enough attention, it can sometimes spiral down into a very big conflict. And it can have an impact on many other aspects of our life, especially if a person is a close friend of yours, for example. It can make you feel less confident with friends, which means you don't focus so much on friends anymore. It means you focus more on your career or your health and other things. And slowly you'll find that after a point when you've reached a crescendo of whatever you wanted to achieve in one aspect of your life, there'll always be a feeling as if there's something missing in my life because I've not really paid attention to a whole aspect of my life, which is not really growing in my life. And so growth happening in every aspect of life is important. And for me, mindfulness starts with paying attention to that aspect of life where things are not very comfortable, things are not very certain. There could be challenging situations. Those are the areas of life that actually need a bit more attention than the ones that I've already been paying attention to. For example, paying attention to health is so important. Even otherwise, we don't need a pandemic to do that, but paying attention to health is vitally important. I can't just ignore it for the sake of work, for example. And in the same way, so you have to divide your life into your own personal space, your personal life, where your health, your physical well-being, your emotional well-being is important. And then comes your family and your connections with close people. And then comes your work. So these are the core things that are really important and really look for our attention. And so in these four aspects, we need to start with, am I taking care of my physical body? Am I really taking steps for my emotional well-being? Because without the mind and the emotions being in the right place, it really doesn't make sense for us to achieve anything, is it? So in the same way, it's also important to pay attention to work. And for some of us, it need not be work. It could be something that you're passionate about. We all have something we do. Even if we stay at home, we'd be gardening, cooking, whatever we're doing, we're doing it a bit more passionately. And am I doing something that I'm passionate about, which is what I call as work? And at the same time, it's also about paying attention to the relationships. And so it's about bringing attention to aspects of life that is calling for our attention and bringing it in a balanced way. So what is mindfulness all about? So the first step of mindfulness is learning to bring conscious attention, to decide I'm going to bring my attention there. That's the first aspect of mindfulness. The second aspect of mindfulness is about learning the ability to experience things. Now we have two sets of nerves in our body. They both are a part of what is called the autonomic nervous system. One part of this nervous system is called the sympathetic nerves. These nerves are all about survival. And when they send messages to the brain, they usually communicate with the limbic system in the brain, which is all about fight or flight or to freeze. So these are the three responses that happen automatically. And recent research has shown that we all freeze and then we go into fight or flight. And that part of the brain is all about survival. That part of the brain is also about learning to respond to situations that are perceived as danger, that are perceived as problems, and to help us handle it from the experiences we've already learned in the past. So it's about the past continuing to influence our present response so that we get to a better place in the future. So that's the first part of the nervous system. They're called the sympathetic nerves. These nerves are not about experiences, and the parts of the brain they talk to are all about thinking and planning and organizing or trying to avoid. These are the basic functions of the parts of the brain that they're talking to. Another set of nerves in the autonomic nervous system is called the parasympathetic nerves. These are also called as the rest and restore nerves. It's because these are the nerves that are active when we are relaxed, when we are happy, when we feel things are positive and nice. These are the nerves connected to positive feelings. And they are also very important in the communication of the organs with each other, and hence play a big role in the healing of the human body and better functioning of the entire system as a whole. And so these nerves are usually active when everything is good and fine, as I already told you, but they also are connected to positive feelings. And when they are active, they trigger parts of the brain that are responsible for being in touch with experiences that are happening around us. For example, if you're really eating something, if that part of the brain connected to the parasympathetic nerves are active, you'll find that our ability to experience things, the taste of the food, the texture, everything would be really heightened, and minute experiences would be felt. And another thing about the parasympathetic nerves is anytime you're really involved in an experience, they are designed to feel a sense of joy or sense of peace. A lot of us think peace happens when I solve all my problems, or some of us believe I'll be happy if I've reached somewhere in life. But achieving, problem solving, those parts of the brain and the nerves have no ability to be happy. It's the parasympathetic nerves that have the ability to be happy. It's the right temporal cortex and the neofrontal cortex that have the ability to see things the way they are and to experience things the way they are. And when that happens, the parasympathetic nerves are designed to feel joy for no reason. We believe joy is a state that happens in a particular situation, but from my own personal experience, joy is something that can be there at the background of every experience, no matter what is happening, pleasant or unpleasant. It could be a positive experience or an unpleasant experience. There can be peace, there can be love, there can be joy in the background when the parasympathetic nerves are active. So love, peace, joy are not the opposites of all the other unpleasant emotions. They are active when you've learned to use certain parts of the brain, and in turn they have triggered the parasympathetic nerves in a particular way. And so many years ago, one of my teachers, he was talking to me, this is like 23 years ago, he was talking to me about how joy is a beautiful experience, which is the birthright of every human being. We are designed with a system that is capable of living in joy all the time. And I asked him, how is that possible? I don't think that's possible at all. Because I used to question. I don't accept things when somebody just talks about it. So he gave me a small exercise. He said, try this. Take any experience, especially if it's unpleasant. And I told this teacher of mine, an ant just bit me in the leg. It's a bit itchy for me there. Do you think I will be able to feel joy if I just bring all my attention to the itch? And he said, have you tried it? I said, no. He said, do it and see. really bring all your attention. Our usual habit of handling it would be to scratch it away or to distract ourselves away to some other experience. I'm not saying every time an ant bites us or if there's a painful experience, you have to practice this. I'm not saying that at all. But this is a small, uncomfortable experience. So I thought it's good to experiment with this. This is manageable. And so I brought my attention to the itch in my toe, and the first few minutes, it was very bad because the first 1.5 minutes was like every time I paid attention to it, instead of scratching it, my itch grew in intensity. It became fivefold, tenfold, and it was becoming bigger and bigger. I was tempted to scratch it, but then I decided, okay, let me just breathe and keep my attention there and see what happens. Let me be really involved in the experience instead of complaining about it. And when I stayed there, after about 2.5, 3 minutes, suddenly I felt waves of a beautiful, uplifting feeling. I thought, wow, I never knew this. All my life, I thought I had to experience joy is something that's so difficult that you can only achieve it when you when you reach a very high spiritual state, or when your heart is opened in a particular way, or you should have had years of meditative experience. I didn't know you can get to a joyful state in 3 minutes. And so that was my first experience with mindfulness. So it was with an ant bite in my foot, and I paid attention to it, and I felt so good. Not that the itch went away. The itch was still there. I learned to relax with it. I made peace with it. And that is what life is all about. When you have emotions that are disturbing you, when you go into a sympathetic mode and try to handle those emotions, we end up making it worse, because the more you try to avoid it, the more you fight it, the more you try to numb yourself to it. It all adds to the problems we already have. And so that's where bringing attention becomes vitally important. For me, mindfulness in a peaceful place is beautiful, is nice. But then where is it really applicable is when you're disturbed, especially emotionally. Because that is where, if you can bring your attention, it can completely shift and change the way you handle yourself, your life, and everything that is happening around you. And so what is mindfulness is very simple. I'm going to quote what mindfulness is. Mindfulness is the art of paying attention to all the experiences happening in the present moment with an open heart, which is what mindfulness is all about. Which means, what does an open heart here means is very simple. You are experiencing things the way they are. You're not trying to name them as good. You're not trying to make them bad. You're not saying this is nice, this is not nice. We are not trying to change what is there. We want to experience things the way they are, which is what mindfulness is all about. And simply by experiencing things the way they are and being involved in that experience, automatically it brings a beautiful, uplifting feeling. Even as we do it, it brings peace, it becomes joy. Depending on the intensity of the experience, energy is released. So if you've seen small babies, we are born being mindful. If you see small babies, they don't have thoughts. They haven't learned language yet. And so they're really involved in the colors. They're involved in the touch. And the amount of energy and stimulation they have is immense. Not a good news for the parents, but babies have a lot of energy. And small children have a lot of energy because they still haven't gone into a mode of survival. So the amount of energy, playfulness, creativity, memory, everything is so high simply because they are really in touch with the experiences. But the older we grow, slowly what happens is the past has such a deep influence on every experience. It colors every experience. It interferes with every experience. There's so much commenting happening in our mind about every experience. The stories we build around it. As all these layers add up, our senses become dull. Our experience of life becomes dull. And we feel, no matter what I'm doing all the exciting things, but something is missing. what is it that is missing? Is very simple. We are missing that stimulation, that life that we felt earlier. Because the mind has grown in its ability to think, to process, to understand, but it has lost its ability to experience things. And so this particular practice that we're going to do is to remind our brain and our nervous system to get back. Because the more we use those parts of the brain, they are like any muscle. The more we use it, the more they are available to us. And so mindfulness practices are finally to lead to a life where you're naturally more mindful. Mindfulness practice are like kickstarting the whole system. Once you've kickstarted it a few times and you've strengthened it and you've used those neurons a bit more, automatically you'll find that they are now available to you at any time you want. And a lot of people have also asked me, it's so difficult for me to be in the present moment because I'm so worried about all that's disturbing me in my mind. It's so difficult to just be in the present moment. But the thing about life is you can never be in the past. You can never be in the future. You can only be in the present moment if you're in touch with any experience. It doesn't matter what experience it is. All experiences happen only in the present moment. So let us say you are worried about something and your mind is bringing pictures of the past and all that. All that you have to do is very simple. Acknowledge what are you feeling in your body. Get back in touch with the body. Get back in touch with the senses. If you're in touch with the senses, if you're in touch with the body, you're already mindful. You can be worrying about the past, but where are you worrying? Is in the present moment. And what is going on within you as you're worrying is happening in the present moment. So it is impossible for us to be anywhere other than the present moment. So I want you to understand that. So it's not about switching off the mind and being in touch with the present moment. It's about noticing what is happening in the present moment the way it is. Even if you're worrying right now, I'm feeling anxious about the future right now. It's about acknowledging I am anxious right now. It's about starting where you are. And the moment you acknowledge this is where I am, you bring your attention to those sensations and situations that are happening. You bring your attention to the sensory experiences, which means you're in touch with what you're seeing with your eyes, or the smell, or the taste, or the sense of touch. And the sense of touch doesn't have to be something that you're touching. It can also be physical sensations you're feeling in your body. For example, if you're anxious, you feel a mild, unpleasant feeling in your belly sometimes, or you can feel some throbbing of the chest or palpitations. So different emotions bring different sensory experiences, even in the body. It's about getting in touch with those experiences. So mindfulness is about bringing attention to the sensory experiences happening in the moment with an open heart, which means you don't judge them as good or bad, right or wrong, should be and should not be. I should not be feeling this, I should be feeling that, is not there at all. You're just experiencing whatever is going on. And so in order to do that, let's not start with an ant bite, let's start with something pleasant. And then I'll teach you another practice that you can do when you feel an emotional disturbance. So first practice will be something that you can do to just enhance that part of the brain and to wake up the parasympathetic nerves. And the second practice can be done when you feel something is disturbed you, or emotionally you feel you need to bring a bit more attention in bringing a bit more balance to your emotions. You can use that particular mindfulness practice for that. So shall we begin then? Any questions before we begin the practice? Does anybody have any questions or anything you want to ask before we begin? I hope you can hear me. I hope I'm not the only one speaking. So,
Sujay, I have a question.
sure, please, Stella.
You talked about mindfulness not being about clearing the mind. Yes. And is that the difference with meditation? Or meditation is clearing the mind of thoughts? Can you just give us that distinction, please, between the two? Because a lot of people think mindfulness is meditation and vice versa.
Yes, thank you. See, meditation is paying attention with an intention. Meditation can involve paying attention to the sensory experiences, then it becomes a mindfulness practice. But meditation can also involve paying attention to a particular insight that you want to really dissect and see and have your own experience connected to that insight. It could be chanting a particular mantra in your mind and really repeating it so many number of times that you get involved in that whole chant. And so the meditation is about taking mindfulness in one direction with an intent. And that's the difference between mindfulness and meditation. And for me, both mindfulness and meditation happens if you are already in a good emotional state. If you've really paid attention to the disturbances at the emotional level. And a lot of people say that my mind is troubling me too much, but actually you can never fix the mind, because the one that says I should fix the mind is the mind. The mind is all about fixing. So it's like a dog trying to catch its own tail. So the mind can never stop itself. It can never try to fix itself. It doesn't work. Just like how the eyes that can see everything can't see itself. It can see its reflection, but it can never see itself. The same way the mind, which has the intelligence to control things, to fix everything, can't fix itself, can't control itself. What we can, of course, do is to shift the emotional state, because the mind works differently in different emotional states. For example, let's say you were really happy, or you are in love with somebody. Now, you could still have doubts, you could still have the same thoughts, but you will see that when your emotions are so positive, these thoughts don't disturb you at all. You're willing to take any number of chances with a person you don't know, and you just jump into the relationship straight away. So when the emotions are positive, our mind is naturally calmer, clearer, undisturbing. At the same time, when there is a lot of anxiousness in the system, when the parasympathetic nerves are low in activity and the sympathetic nerves have been active for a long time, then you'll find a mind being that way is usually worrying unnecessarily, planning unnecessarily, over planning, overdoing things. So you don't have to fix the mind, change the emotional state. And how do you change the emotional state? Is very simple. You relax the sympathetic nerves and you stimulate the parasympathetic nerves. Once you've done that, your mind is no more a problem. And if you pay attention to the emotional disturbances, automatically you'll find that when you work on your emotions, your mind is naturally relaxed. Meditation, mindfulness happens. Whether you do a mindfulness with a particular intent, we call it meditation, it happens when you've already worked on keeping your heart more open and happier. So I hope this answered your question, Stella.
Yes, thank you.
Anybody else has any questions, or shall we go into the practice?
I think we move forward. Yeah.
Okay, we'll do that. Okay. So let's go into the practice. So I want you to sit comfortably wherever you are, or lie down. Make sure you don't fall asleep, but make sure you're comfortable. I want you to gently close your eyes and take a few calm breaths, allowing your belly to gently expand as you breathe in and your belly to relax as you breathe out. Take a few calm, relaxed breaths. Make your breathing calm and slow. Breathing is one of the most effective ways of relaxing the sympathetic nerves connected to stress and fear. When you breathe calmly, they start to relax. slow down. And as you've taken a few calm breaths, in one of the breaths, as you take a deep inhale, you could also hold your breath. And when you're holding your breath, take an intention where you say to yourself in your mind, you don't have to say it aloud, but in your mind, it's like an affirmation where you say, I choose to be conscious of all the experiences in this moment. Just say it in your mind. I choose to be conscious of all my experiences in this moment. And then you can breathe out. So you would say that as you hold your breath in between the breathing in and breathing out. When you hold your breath and take an affirmation, you're talking to the subconscious mind, a part of our brain and our nervous system that has the ability to process things a bit better. Comes a firm intention. Now gently bring your attention to the sense of touch at the tip of the nostrils. And as you're calmly breathing in and out, feel the cool air touching the nostrils as you breathe in, and the warm air flowing out at the tip of the nostrils as you breathe out. It is not the length of attention, as many people believe, that is important. It is the quality of attention that is important. How much did you feel this inhale is all that is important? And how much did you feel this exhale is all that is important? And that is why mindfulness and meditation is not about the length of attention. It's not concentration. It is about the quality of the experience. How much did I feel this inhale is all that is important? How much did I feel this exhale is all that is important? You've taken a few calm, conscious breaths. And bring your attention to all the sounds around you. Listen to every sound around you. Not many people know listening brings peace. It stimulates that part of the brain just above the ears. When they are stimulated enough, we feel the experience of peace. Listen to every little sound. It doesn't matter what sound you're listening to. It could be my voice. It could be anything, like a refrigerator at home, or small insects or birds. Depending on where you are, it really doesn't matter where you are. Just listen to every little sound. Your attention can move from one sound to another, but just keep listening. Gently bring your attention back to the breathing. The breathing is going to be the foundation where we keep coming back into after paying attention to any experience. We come back to consciously breathing. It keeps the sympathetic nerves relaxed. And now, let us bring our attention to the sense of touch. Notice all those parts of the body where you're feeling warm. And experience that warmth. Now notice all those parts of the body that are feeling cool or pleasant. Switching between the opposite kind of feelings. Now let's bring our attention to parts of the body which are touching something soft. It could be a cushion that you're sitting on, it could be something under the feet, be the dress that you're wearing. Notice all the parts of the body where you're feeling something soft. Now notice parts of the body that are feeling something rough or hard, the opposite of what you've been feeling. Just tell the brain, despite the textures, despite the temperatures, despite something being pleasant or not, learn to pay attention. And now bring your attention back to the breathing. Take a few conscious breaths. Let us now teach our brain to also think in tune with our experiences. And the way to do it is very simple. As you inhale, I want you to say in your mind, you could say one or in, and as you breathe out, you can say two or out. Whatever is convenient for you, you can say in and out, one and two. It really doesn't matter, but make it into a tune and make that tune get completely in sync with your breath. For example, if I'm using in and out, as I'm breathing in my mind, I'm saying in as you breathe in and out as you breathe out. Or one, two. Because if you just use it as a word, our mind will find something to speak in the gaps between the words. But if you make it into a tune, then the tune and the breath can be completely in sync with each other. So for the next 1 minute or so, we will breathe in and out with a tune in our mind. It doesn't matter what you say. If you want to do the way the yogis in India used to do, they used to say so as you breathe in, hum as you breathe out. So hum means I am that, which is the goal of all meditations and mindfulness, to feel one with what you're experiencing. So you could say in and out, so hum, one, two, anything is okay. synchronize it with the breath. And now relax your attention, just breathe calmly. And bring your attention to any experience you'd like to pay attention to. Notice everything happening right now. Could be the sense of touch, could be the smell, could be the sounds. Just be in touch with this moment. Being open to every experience. Whatever is asking for your attention, just be with your attention there, experiencing it. At any time you feel you lost your attention and you want to go back, just do it with a smile. Don't fight yourself. Don't fight whatever is happening in the mind. Just come back with a smile and continue. Or just come back to this breath, this inhale and exhale. And teach your mind to come back to the present. It starts with a single breath and then gently expands. You may now gently relax your attention and open your eyes whenever you feel like. Take your time. If you can spend about 10 minutes of being able to sit with your attention and just notice the breath, the cool air and the warm air flowing in and out, and the sense of touch, listening to the sounds, and then a minute or two of saying something like a tune in your mind with your breath. That's a good way of training your brain to be more in touch with the experience of things. And then, once you've done this practice, try spending some time in nature, because there's nothing that has more healing than nature. So of course you can go to the park with an intention to lose 10 kilos or to finish so many rounds in a day. You can have all those intentions. That's for exercise. But also have an intention that I'm just going to go to the park to do just nothing, but to just experience myself looking at the trees, listening to the birds and the sounds there. Just in being involved in that experience. Just complete silence, no talking to anybody, no watching the mobile. Just 15, 20 minutes of being in touch with nature. If you can do that, that's mindfulness. If you can do that there, then the next step would be to bring that mindfulness to your home. When somebody is talking, when one of your family members is sharing about how they are feeling so upset about something, many times we try to give them a solution. We tell them, don't feel this. We give them an advice. I personally don't like to be advised on how to be feeling or what to feel and what not to feel, isn't it? It's not a very comfortable experience when people tell you, you're not supposed to feel this way, you're supposed to be calmer. The moment we say we are upset about something, people tell us, no, there are so many positive things in life, cheer up, be happy. People keep telling us to escape, people keep telling us to numb things that are unpleasant. Learn to bring your attention. Sometimes if you're feeling unpleasant, just acknowledge whatever you're feeling and bring all your attention to it. When you bring all your attention to it, you'll see the first thing that happens is there's a lot of stormy thoughts going on around that situation in your mind about who's wrong and what happened, why did this happen, how could you have let this happen, should not have happened. A lot of regrets and blaming and stories and sad things we say about it. Just acknowledge all of that, but bring all your attention. Just let those thoughts pass first, and then bring your attention to what am I feeling? Am I hurt? Am I angry? Am I feeling sad? What am I feeling? And then go beyond the name you've given to that feeling to the very experience of it. The sensations connected to it in your body. And when you can just breathe and pay attention to that sensation, you will find that the disturbance that you're feeling, not that it is gone, not that it goes away and you no more feel angry anymore with anything in life. You have learned to be relaxed with anger. You've learned to relax with the loneliness you feel. You learn to relax with the hurt that you felt. When you learn to relax with these emotions, then you will realize the mind doesn't have to calculate and plan and be so anxious about these experiences all the time. Because our mind is constantly anxious that this experience might happen. It's constantly planning ahead before you even talk to people. It's planning every step because it doesn't want this experience. So if something has happened, accept the fact of the situation that has happened. This has happened and this is what I feel. Allow the storms in your mind to pass a bit and then bring your attention to what am I feeling, and bring your attention there. Once you have learned to relax with your own emotions, then you will find you've also learned to relax with people around you who have the same emotions. It's only when you're relaxed with your own emotions can you relax with others around you. If that has happened, then you'll find your mind doesn't have to work so hard. It becomes a more relaxed mind. And then you'll find enjoying nature, enjoying being with people happens more naturally. It becomes more and more automatic after a point. So in the second practice, I'm going to just take you through a small practice, which you can do when you feel any disturbance. And we'll just be doing it for 5 minutes. But of course, when you're disturbed, make sure you stay enough time till you learn to relax with that emotion. So that you can never set a time to how you will feel because the intensity of the emotions vary from time to time and person to person. So make sure you do it according to your situation. But I'll give you a small basic experience of how to go about doing something when you're feeling emotionally disturbed and how to use mindfulness in that situation there. So are you ready? Shall we go into that 5-minute practice? So whenever you're ready, so just close your eyes. Think of a time, because right now I hope you're not disturbed with me. If you're disturbed, this is a good chance, but if you're not, think of a time when you were disturbed about anything. You must know our mind has the ability to connect with any experience in the past and make you feel that experience right now. Though it feels like you're going into the past, you can never go into the past. You're just bringing that experience into the present moment. So go into the past. Take that disturbing experience. It could involve a situation, it could involve a person. And when it's a person, it's usually the words they speak or the action they do that really disturbs us. Think of what was that action? What was that behavior? What were the words that disturbed you? That hurt you or made you feel upset, disappointed you, made you angry. And when you've gone into that situation, if you're able to feel at least a minute part of what you felt at that time, it doesn't have to be the same intensity. But if you feel something, acknowledge what you feel. Give it a name. I am feeling angry, or I'm feeling hurt, I'm feeling disappointed. Feeling guilty. Whatever you're feeling. And once you've acknowledged it, given it a name, tell yourself, it is okay to feel this way. It is okay to feel angry. It is okay to feel hurt. Don't let the mind make you believe you're feeling something you're not supposed to feel. You're just feeling a normal human emotion. Let yourself know it is okay. And then bring your attention to what is your mind saying about it. To all the stories, the complaints that it has. And see how every time you complain more, it makes you more angry. The more stories you said makes you even more upset. Adds, no matter what you say, see how it adds to the pain. And so you have only two options: to distract and numb yourself and move away as if nothing happened, or bring all your attention to what has happened. Because those stories are so unpleasant. So now bring your attention to the physical sensations connected in your body to that experience. Hold the memory of that experience. Hold the physical experience of the sensation you're feeling. And just stay there until you've learned to relax with it. You'll find that the intensity of that experience will increase and decrease. And every time it increases, the mind will try to avoid it. Every time it goes down, the mind will feel, okay, so I am able to relax with this. I'm free of this. No, you can never be free of your own emotions or a past experience. They are a part of your memory. So let the mind learn to not secretly want to become free of it, but to learn to make peace with it, to relax with it. Allow it to relax with that emotion. There's nothing to say, no teaching to be used, no philosophy needed. Just the experience of it the way it is. And every now and then you can take a few calm breaths, feeling the cool air going in and the warm air coming out. And then come back to that emotions experience. And just allow yourself to feel it without resistance, with all your attention. The heart is like a child. And just like a child, it doesn't look for a solution or an advice. It is looking for attention. When you give it that attention to whatever you're feeling, the heart relaxes and the mind relaxes along with it. if you get good at doing this, try it when you're disturbed. And then try it when people around you are disturbed. When you do that, it can have a healing impact on you and people around you. You can open your eyes whenever you feel like. So that is why for me, mindfulness is not just a practice you do like for 5 minutes in a day. It's a whole way of consciously living your life and bringing attention consciously to enrich your experience of life. So thank you for patiently listening, and if you have any questions or anything you want to share, I'll be happy to answer them.
Sujay, thank you so much for that. You know, it's really interesting, that second practice you did about going into feeling the emotion and allowing it to dissolve. We've been kind of trained to almost beat ourselves up for feeling those emotions, like to say, oh, it's wrong to feel angry, or we shouldn't feel this way. And we we either block the emotions or we bury them somewhere and then we move on. I'll give you an example. Yesterday I was in a shop and there was a guy standing next to me without a mask. And I got very angry, you know, I just got angry. And I said something to him, and I started to feel all these emotions in my body. Like while I was talking to him, my throat tightened, my heart rate increased. And then I got into the car and I said to myself, Stella, why on earth did you even do that? That's crazy. Why did you allow yourself to feel angry? But going through this with you was so helpful, because actually it's okay to be angry every now and again. And we're humans and we have those emotions and we can be angry. And if I had known that practice, I probably would have sat in my car and felt into that anger and allow it to dissolve and to really feel it. And, you know, it was just, it is what it is. Thank you for that. You know, we've had loads of conversations over the weeks about emotions and allowing ourselves to feel emotions and not, you know, allowing them then to turn into something bigger in our bodies, maybe disease or even, you know, bigger kind of mental health issues. And these practices were so powerful. And you know, there are comments coming in here. I'm just going to read the first one I see here, which is, it's brilliant. I've listened to many talks of mindfulness and I have to say this is the best. Second meditation was so powerful, being allowed to feel your emotions. Absolutely, Nimisha, absolutely. This is, you know, your whole take on mindfulness was brilliant. So thank you so much. We really, really appreciate your time and your dedication to the cause. It's wonderful.
I didn't plan this.
Yeah.
It happened, yes.
It happens. So you feel into what's going on in the public psyche, and yeah. Thank you. I mean, fantastic comments. And you know, we hear the mindfulness. We hear lots of explanations about mindfulness, being in the present moment, being aware of what's going on. The other thing that was powerful for me was, you know, your explanation about the ant biting you, and that actually, if you just keep on that emotion or that feeling, it can dissolve into something actually quite joyful. I'll bear that in mind next time I get bitten by a mosquito.
Try it with every mosquito.
Yeah, and then I'll call you afterwards.
I have a bacon sandwich to take away.
Oh,
Thank you. Can we just mute everybody, please?
Yeah.
Ham and cheese or
John, can you mute yourself, please?
On brown. Do you have brown bread?
we're gonna check.
Thank you very much.
Okay, I've muted it. So thank you so much. We can't wait for Thailand to be open to us again, so we can come back to the wonderful Kamalaya and, you know, see you. And I think I'm going to be first in line to get on that plane. But thank you again for your time. Give our love to the Kamalaya family, to everybody there, to John and everyone else there. And thank you, Wellbeing at Home community, for showing up again. I hope you really enjoyed this session with Sujay. It's fabulous. And
happen. And you know, we are also you know, feeling really grateful to all the people who are supporting us directly and indirectly at this time, because you know, this is part of a wellness industry and depends on people, but we are happy that Kamalaya is one of those places that is still going on because of people like you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
No, it's always a pleasure to support the Kamalaya family, and yeah, because it's a wonderful place and wonderful people. So thank you all for showing up. And for being with us again this week. I hope you have a wonderful week ahead. We're going to take a week off next week, but we'll be back after that with update of what's next. And remember, be mindful and please enjoy the wonderful meditations and practices that Sujay shared with us. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.